If you watched the Xbox Developer Direct like I did on Friday, you're probably a little disappointed that they didn't announce the Oblivion remake. I was so looking forward to it. It seemed like it was like a guaranteed thing to happen. I really wanted it to happen. I had my Ron Paul "It's Happening" gif loaded and ready to go, but unfortunately, they didn't announce it. Doesn't mean that it's not happening. I'm still, at this point, 50-50 on whether or not the Oblivion remake is ever going to happen. I would like it to happen, but I'm not going to hold out hope until I see something concrete from it. But I did get to see a game that I kind of forgot about when it was first announced, and that was Doom: The Dark Ages. And boy, oh boy, I was super impressed with the video that they showed about that game. I'm really excited about it. And the one thing that I'm really excited about it is it shows that the developers at id really know what made Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal so successful. And it was that each one was unique and an understanding of scratching the itch in that part of your brain of that fun run and gun by the seat of your pants action. They really truly understand what makes it tick, basically. And I think this goes back to why id is called id. They know that they are catering to the id in everyone's brain. They're not catering to your high-level concept, high-level fantasy. They want to cater to your lizard brain. And I think that their understanding of it is highlighted by the fact that they are choosing to slow things down with Doom Dark Ages rather than speed things up like they did with Doom Eternal. I think if they didn't fully have a full grasp on what makes the new Doom games work, they would have just kept doing what they did going between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. They would have put the pedal to the metal even harder and just made it even faster, even more high-flying, even more over-the-top crazy. But it shows that they have a level of design and restraint and have decided to slow things down, keep things more grounded, and have things more on the ground and much more of a return to the original Doom games of having strafing and shooting and less of the high-flying action, basically. And the other thing that I think really highlights that they understand catering to the id part of their audience's brain comes to the fact that they literally are trying to mention how much you can do with so few buttons. I think that's a design choice that is really important in understanding how Doom is so amazing and so successful. They are trying to limit the number of buttons you have to press, but making it highly contextual so that you only have X number of buttons to press, but it's incredibly important when you press the buttons and how you press the buttons, probably. And that's what I'm really excited about for this game, is to just be running and gunning as fast as humanly possible and hitting not that many buttons, but hitting them a lot and hitting them in the right sequence and the right time. That to me makes the id part of my brain sing, and I'm super excited for it. I'm super excited about the blocking and the parrying. Honestly, the way that they make it look, I think it honestly is better than I think the Dark Souls games have been sort of heralded as the return to form for blocking and parrying. I mean, literally in the Oblivion remake leaks, they were saying that that's what they were doing, is the Oblivion remake was going to copy Dark Souls-esque blocking and parrying. It's more of the dodge roll that really sings in the Souls games. And it seems like in Doom: The Dark Ages, they're getting rid of the dodge roll, or at least making it not as important, and they're really trying to focus on getting you to parry and getting you to block, which I think is really interesting in the formula of Doom, trying to make that all work. And I think it looks like it's going to go together really well and add a whole new dimension to the game of adding more defense rather than just purely offense and maneuvering. And I think the fact that they are limiting the buttons, but also giving you so many accessibility sliders of being able to tweak the game to be however you want to experience it, but still keeping the buttons minimal so that it is still that lower base brain feeling that is so amazing to the Doom games. And other things that I loved about the game were the artwork. Obviously, I mean, going back to Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and even now, the artwork and the design is so great. I don't know why I'm so drawn to these games same thing with Oblivion and the Daedra and the demons. I also love Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal with the design demons in hell coming up and fighting the demons of hell. The design philosophy and the design work looks so amazing, so beautiful, and so cool and action packed, and it goes above and beyond what you would expect from even like the most goriest but over the top amazing action movie you could see. I do find it really funny though that after all the Mick Gordon drama, that they decided to outsource the music for this new game to a different company, because I know that I'll be perfectly honest to say that I'm not fully up to date on all of the Mick Gordon drama between it and him and who was right, who was wrong. I honestly don't remember, don't know, so I'm not going to cast judgments on any of it, but I do find it funny that they're like, we're just not even going to touch that with a 10-foot pole, and we're just going to outsource it to a different company to do it for us. I think that's kind of funny, but also shows how smart they are. They know that maybe that's just not their forte and they need some help in this area. And the other thing that I'm really excited for about this game is the fact that they mentioned it and really want to dive deep into the lore of this updated Doom story. And it's something that they sort of hint at in the Doom 2016 game, and it's something that you get to explore and play some actual important parts in the lore in Doom Eternal. But I think it's really interesting to see how it all started. There's, like, in those first two games, there's a lot of characters that you don't even fully understand who they are and what role they play, and I'm excited to see what role they play in the prehistory of the prequel of these Doom games. Like, I remember playing Doom 2016. I loved reading the codexes and listening to the story of the Slayer, the legend of the Slayer. I thought that was really interesting and cool. I love that they were able to sort of tie it into the original games that came out back in the 90s and sort of have this connected through line. It's not fully just like it wasn't just like a universe reboot. It's sort of like a continuation within the Doom universe as it goes through from the early 90s version to now. And I'm really excited for them to just dig deep even more into this lore. And another thing that I think shows that they really are smart about this game, and it looks really promising, is the fact that they are cutting all the multiplayer out of the game and just having no multiplayer whatsoever. Having no multiplayer, I think, is really smart because it allows them just to put all of the resources into the one part of the game that I think everyone really cares about, which is the single player game. I think they obviously can just look at the numbers and know that people just were not playing the multiplayer parts of the game, and so why support it? But I think it shows that, like, they know that we shouldn't force this. We should just focus on the things that people want to actually experience in our game, rather than trying to build out this extra game mode that no one really even wants to play. People come because they want to have the single player experience. And honestly, that's really refreshing to me, because I feel like in the games industry, so much of it is trying to cater to a multiplayer audience, a live service audience, because that's supposedly where the money is really being made. And that is just not my personal cup of tea when it comes to playing video games. I want to have it be a single person experience where I'm interacting with a world that the creators are making. Having that curated experience is really important to me, and not having some Yahoo on the internet interrupt it for me. For me, it's about being the Slayer, killing the demons, experiencing the story. And I think that the fact that they are focusing more on that is amazing and great, and I'm looking forward to it. And then also the fact that the director acknowledged the fact that this is not going to be the only Doom game, and it will not just end here. I felt like the ending of the Doom Eternal DLCs was a little lackluster. It could have been a little bit better. And I doubted that was going to be the final note of this Doom storyline, that he was just going to get put back into the sarcophagus and, wait again until he had to be reawakened. If I had to guess, the sequel to Doom Eternal that will be the next game, something tells me he's going to get awoken, and I hope that there is some sort of closure to the story. I think it makes sense that at some point, the cycle of him getting sealed to the sarcophagus, getting awoken for duty or whatever, will eventually come to an end. And I'm excited to see how they want to have that happen. I'm excited to see how that all plays out. And I'm looking forward to maybe seeing some hints of what might happen in Doom: The Dark Ages. And I have to be honest, the thing I love about id is kind of the things that I don't like in Bethesda right now. You know, all the criticism of Bethesda about how they take so long to come out with games, they're, you know, aren't the most polished thing ever. They're kind of a little too loosey-goosey, which, I mean, I like the expansiveness of a Bethesda game, obviously. That's some of my favorite parts, is the fact that you can just explore all these little nooks and crannies and everything. But I do also appreciate what id does. Id is kind of the opposite of Bethesda in that way. They're consistent, they put out high quality, and they do it on a faster timetable than what Bethesda can do. Bethesda seems to be this giant iceberg that goes incredibly slow with their game development, whereas id is like cranking these games out super fast. But what do you think? Are you looking forward to this new Doom game? I am, definitely. What do you guys want to see in it? I also really do love the lore of these new Doom games. Would you like to see me make a video on the lore of the Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal? That's something that I am somewhat interested in. I honestly don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes on the Doom games, but I'm interested to find out. So let me know if you want to see me make a lore video on the Doom games. Thanks for listening to this video. It would mean a lot if you would like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me make more of this content. Thank you.